Welcome back to the LeverUp AMA series. I'm Marcus, your host, and today we're cracking open something that gets mentioned constantly in DeFi but almost never gets properly explained: oracles. What they are, how they actually work in perp trading, and why they quietly have a massive impact on your trades. My guest is James from the LeverUp team. James, thanks for being here.
Happy to be here, Marcus. Oracle pricing is one of those topics where the more you dig in, the more you realize how much it matters and how little most traders think about it.
Let's start right there. Why should a retail trader care about something this infrastructure level?
Because Oracle quality directly affects three things you definitely care about: the price you get when you enter a trade, the price you get when you exit, and whether your liquidation risk is being calculated accurately. None of those work correctly without a good Oracle. So it's not abstract infrastructure, it's the foundation your entire trading experience sits on.
All right, back to basics. What exactly is a price oracle?
A price oracle is a service that publishes real-world asset prices onto a blockchain. Here's the thing most people don't realize: blockchains are closed, deterministic systems. A smart contract running on-chain has no way to know that BTC is trading at $105,000 on Binance right now. That information lives off-chain. The smart contract can only read what's already been written on the chain.
So the blockchain is basically sealed off from the outside world by design.
Exactly, it's what makes blockchains trustworthy. They're predictable, tamper-resistant, deterministic. But that same property means they can't natively access external data. Oracle networks solve this by running nodes that aggregate prices from multiple sources: exchanges, data providers, market makers, reach consensus on the correct price, and write a verified number on-chain. The smart contract reads that on-chain number.
And without that, DeFi just doesn't work.
Any protocol that needs to know an asset's price, lending, liquidations, perp trading, options pricing, needs an oracle. Without reliable price feeds, you can't function safely. You're essentially flying blind.
Let's get into perp DEXes specifically, because that's where LeverUp operates. How does oracle pricing actually connect to what a trader experiences?
There are three places oracle pricing directly shows up in perp trading. First, the mark price. When you're holding a position, the PNL that's being tracked, whether you're up or down, is calculated against the mark price, which comes from the oracle. Not from the last trade on the perp market itself, but from the oracle's feed of the underlying spot price.
Wait, pause on that. Why the distinction? Why not just use the perp's own last traded price?
Because a perp's own price can be moved by traders. If someone could manipulate the mark price by making a large trade on the perp itself, they could trigger liquidations at will. Using an independent oracle feed as the mark price makes the protocol resistant to that kind of manipulation.
Smart. What are the other two?
Second is execution price. When you open or close a position, your fill price is derived from the oracle's current quote, not from a liquidity pool's ratio or order book depth. This matters because your execution price is independent of your trade size within the protocol's risk parameters. Third is the liquidation trigger. Your position gets liquidated when the mark price from the oracle crosses your liquidation threshold. Oracle accuracy directly determines whether liquidations are happening at the right price or not.
That liquidation piece sounds like it could get nasty if the oracle is lagging. Walk me through what stale pricing risk actually looks like in practice.
Stale pricing happens when the oracle's published price doesn't reflect the actual current market price. The gap between what the oracle says and what the market actually is, that's called oracle lag. For traders, this creates two concrete risks.
Hit me with the first one.
Executing at the wrong price. Say you open a long position and the oracle price is showing $100 on an asset, but the true market price has already moved to $103. You're filling at $100 based on the oracle, but the real market says $103. That 3-point gap is effectively hidden slippage, not from pool dynamics, but from stale data. You're already starting your trade in a worse position than what a CEX would give you.
And most traders wouldn't even notice that.
That's exactly the point. It doesn't look like slippage in the traditional sense. There's no price impact warning. It's invisible to most people. The second risk is incorrect liquidations. If the oracle lags during a fast market move, liquidations can trigger late, which means losing positions get more time they shouldn't get, or they trigger on the basis of a briefly extreme price that quickly reverses. You get liquidated at a level that the market only touched for a fraction of a second before bouncing right back.
So both traders and the protocol lose out.
Incorrect liquidations are bad for everyone. For the trader who gets liquidated unfairly, obviously, but also for the protocol's integrity, because the liquidation system is a core risk management mechanism. It needs to reflect real market conditions.
So oracle freshness is the solution. But not all oracles are built the same. Can you break down the architectural difference between Chainlink and Pyth?
Chainlink is the most widely used oracle network in DeFi, and it's battle-tested across many chains. The architecture works like this. A network of node operators pulls price data from various sources, aggregates it, and pushes updates on-chain. Updates are typically triggered either by a price deviation threshold, the price has moved a certain percentage, or by a heartbeat interval. In calm market conditions, updates can be relatively infrequent.
What's Pyth doing differently?
Pyth uses what's called a pull architecture, and crucially, the data sources are fundamentally different. Rather than node operators aggregating from external sources, Pyth uses first-party data, prices published directly by exchanges, trading firms, and market makers who actually have real positions in these markets. These are participants with genuine market exposure, publishing their own live quotes.
So instead of someone asking Binance what the price is and then reporting it, Binance itself is reporting the price.
That's the right mental model. The feed reflects live quotes from participants who are actually making markets, not intermediaries collecting and reporting data. And because of the pull architecture, the feed targets sub-second update frequencies. It's designed specifically for latency-sensitive applications, perp trading being exactly that.
And LeverUp runs on Pyth Pro specifically.
Yes, LeverUp upgraded to Pyth Pro feeds, which offer up to 19x fresher price data compared to standard Oracle configurations. When prices are moving fast, which is exactly when Oracle lag causes the most damage, the freshness gap between Oracle architectures becomes very concrete.
Let's talk about the darker side, Oracle manipulation. Is this a real threat or is it more theoretical?
Oracle attacks are one of the most significant exploit vectors in DeFi history. This isn't theoretical at all. If an attacker can move the price in Oracle reports, even temporarily, they can trigger incorrect liquidations and profit from the resulting chaos, open large positions just before a manipulated price update and close them after, or drain lending protocols by borrowing against artificially inflated collateral.
How does that work mechanically? How do you move an oracle's price?
Most Oracle attacks exploit protocols that use a thin liquidity source as a price reference. If an oracle is pulling from a single on-chain pool, an attacker can use a flash loan to move that pool's price momentarily. The oracle picks up the manipulated price, the attacker exploits it, and then the price snaps back. The attack happens in milliseconds.
So aggregation is the defense.
Aggregation is the primary defense. If you're averaging across 10 independent sources, moving any one of them has limited effect on the final reported price. You'd have to move multiple large, independent markets simultaneously, which is prohibitively expensive. Time weighting is another protection, smoothing out brief spikes so a momentary extreme price doesn't get written as the oracle price. And using decentralized node networks with economic incentives for accuracy adds another layer.
What's the practical checklist for traders evaluating a protocol?
Know which oracle the protocol uses, understand how frequently it updates, and under what conditions it might update less frequently. Check whether the oracle design has protections against single-source manipulation. These aren't abstract technical details. They're directly connected to the price you get and whether your liquidation risk is being managed honestly.
Before we wrap, I want to make sure we cover the FAQ level stuff because these come up constantly. What's the clean one-liner on Oracle lag?
Oracle lag is the delay between when a price change happens in the real market and when that change shows up in the on-chain Oracle feed. It's a window where the on-chain price doesn't match true market price. The size of that window and the frequency of updates is Oracle freshness.
Mark price versus spot price. People get confused here.
Spot price is what the asset trades for on a cash market, BTC USDT on Binance, for example. Mark price is the Oracle-derived reference price the perp protocol uses internally for PNL and liquidation calculations. In well-functioning markets, they track closely. When they diverge, you get a funding rate pressure that pulls them back together.
And mark price is distinct from the perp's last traded price for the manipulation resistance reason you mentioned earlier.
Exactly, the perp's last traded price can be influenced by traders. The mark price, derived from an independent oracle, can't be manipulated by trading on the perp itself. That's by design.
Last one. Why should someone pick a protocol with a better oracle over one with a worse oracle, even if everything else looks similar?
Because in fast-moving markets, which is when you're most exposed, most likely to be near a liquidation threshold, most likely to want clean execution, oracle quality is the difference between the protocol working as described and the protocol quietly working against you through stale prices. It's the least visible variable and arguably one of the most important.
Let's close it out. Here's what we covered today. Oracles exist because blockchains are closed systems that can't access off-chain data natively. Oracle networks aggregate prices from multiple sources and write verified feeds on-chain that protocols depend on. In perp DEXes specifically, the Oracle controls your mark price, your execution price, and your liquidation trigger, which means Oracle quality is directly tied to your trading experience. Stale pricing creates hidden slippage and can cause incorrect liquidations during fast markets. Pyth and Chainlink have different architectures, with Pyth targeting sub-second updates via first-party data. And Oracle manipulation is a real historical threat that well-designed protocols mitigate through aggregation and time waiting. James, thanks for walking through all of this.
Thanks, Marcus. If you want the written version with all the details, including the mark price versus spot price breakdown and the FAQ section, the full article is on the LeverUp blog. And if you want to trade on a protocol running Pyth Pro Oracle feeds, you can find LeverUp at app, LeverUp, Zeiss.
Links in the description. We'll see you next time.